modern world functioning. While some progress has been made, like the development of initial quantum-resistant cryptography tools, we are still at the very beginning of this race. Only a small number of countries and companies have access to cutting-edge technologies capable of protecting us from a potential quantum catastrophe, while the majority remain exposed and vulnerable. The dilemma is clear. If quantum computing is not regulated or properly controlled, it could become the catalyst for a new kind of warfare, a borderless digital war where nations fight not with missiles, but with lines of code. In the worst-case scenario, it could lead not only to global economic disaster, but also to the complete loss of privacy and control over our own lives. Still, not all hope is lost. While some view quantum computing as an insurmountable threat, others see it as an opportunity to reinvent cybersecurity. A group of scientists and technology experts is actively working to develop quantum protective systems capable of anticipating and neutralizing risks before they materialize. In 2022, an international team led by Yale University, in collaboration with NASA, achieved a significant breakthrough in creating quantum codes that could shield critical infrastructures from future quantum supercomputer attacks. This technology is still in its early stages, but it already presents a viable solution to protect critical systems on a global scale. The key lies in the concept of quantum cryptography. Unlike traditional encryption methods, quantum cryptography leverages the laws of quantum physics to create security systems that are nearly impossible to hack, even by the most advanced computers. This approach promises a future where the security of our data and systems remains unthreatened by the rapid evolution of machines. While quantum computing poses new challenges, it also opens doors to an era of unprecedented innovation. The race to develop the first operational quantum security systems will serve as a pivotal moment, providing humanity with the opportunity to stay ahead of the curve rather than being consumed by it. Quantum computing is undoubtedly one of the most revolutionary technological advancements of our time. It has the potential to change the game not only in computing, but in every aspect of our daily lives. However, as with any disruptive innovation, it comes with a multitude of risks. What's at stake isn't just our ability to safeguard critical societal systems, such as banks, governments, and vital infrastructure, but also our personal privacy and security. The prospect of a future where our lives are open and vulnerable to anyone with the necessary knowledge and tools could be just around the corner. Yet the future is not set in stone. Humanity has shown time and again its ability to adapt to threats, find solutions, and transform challenges into opportunities. The key, as always, will be how we choose to respond to this new era of quantum computing. If we act now, we can ensure that this new technology strengthens our defenses rather than undermines them. What is clear is that this is just the beginning of a new technological revolution. We, as a society, must take the reins, lead innovation, and ensure that the tools of the future work for us, not against us. This is how we confront one of the most complex and fascinating threats of our time. Quantum computing, with all its transformative potential, is a double-edged sword. The speed at which these technologies are advancing puts us at a crossroads. Will we control them before they control us? The only certainty is that the future is already here, and it is up to us to decide how we face it. The choices we make today will shape the nature of our society tomorrow. Will it be a future of progress and security, or one of vulnerability and chaos? The decisions we make now will determine how we navigate this new horizon. This is just the beginning. Imagine a world where combat drones patrol the skies, laser weapons take down satellites in seconds, and AI-powered systems make life and death decisions autonomously. A future where superpowers no longer fight traditional wars, but engage in a silent battle of machines, algorithms, and computational power. The arms race is no longer confined to the battlefield. It now extends to cyberspace, the air, the seas, and even the very minds of machines. With every advancement, the line between science fiction and reality becomes increasingly blurred. Are we prepared for a war that could be won without a single human firing a shot? Throughout history, war has been a catalyst for many technological innovations. Yet what we are witnessing today surpasses anything we could have imagined just decades ago. The weapons of the future are not only more powerful, they are smarter. Only a few decades ago, armed conflicts relied on brute force, battles fought on the ground, and direct military interventions. Today, wars are fought in cyberspace, in the skies, and with technologies that once seemed to belong only in the realm of science fiction. Autonomous drones capable of identifying and eliminating targets without human intervention. Unmanned aerial vehicles operating entirely on their own. Advanced AI that not only makes tactical decisions, but also evaluates global scenarios and recommends strategies for attack and defense. These advancements, which once only appeared in movies, have now become a troubling reality. According to a report by the University of Oxford, the use of drones and other autonomous technologies in warfare has increased by 40% over the last decade. Moreover, AI-powered weapons, such as hypersonic missiles, can strike targets at unprecedented speeds, entirely evading traditional defenses. The race to control these advanced weapons technologies is no longer solely in the hands of major governments, but also involves private corporations investing massive sums in the development of cyber weapons. These tools are designed not to destroy on the battlefield, but to paralyze entire systems. Cyber weapons, such as computer viruses crafted to attack critical infrastructure, are now in the hands of actors who don't need an army to wreak havoc. A small group of skilled hackers could destroy or seize control of entire systems, leaving banks, power grids, and even military bases exposed. Defense experts warn that the threat of a massive cyber attack has grown exponentially. The ability to hack missile systems or manipulate satellite communications data, for instance, doesn't just weaken national defenses, it puts millions of lives at risk. The future of warfare may shift from boots on the ground to a digital Cold War, where the most critical decisions are made by algorithms and software. But what happens if these systems fail? Who controls the AI? And what if this AI decides on its own to launch an attack that no one can stop? The ultimate question is, who holds the reins of these technological weapons? In a world where advanced weapon systems no longer require direct human intervention, the lines between legitimate military action and a global threat become increasingly blurred. Who is responsible if an autonomous system makes a fatal error? Imagine a scenario where a combat drone operated by an algorithm attacks a target without anyone in the chain of command giving explicit orders. The system, based on its data analysis, might have misinterpreted the situation, but the consequences are devastating. Lives lost, cities destroyed, and political reactions escalating to a global conflict. Experts in AI ethics and military strategy are divided. Some argue that the use of AI in warfare is an inevitable future, offering precision and reduced casualties. Others warn that we are losing control over critical decisions that must be made on the battlefield. In a digitally interconnected world where defense systems are tied to the internet, any vulnerability can be exploited. A small group of hackers could infiltrate control systems, seizing control of these powerful weapons. The result would be a situation where decisions of war are not made in command centers, but in the shadows of the web by individuals with unclear intentions. Imagine this happening in minutes. A cyber attack on critical infrastructure could neutralize a nation's armed forces, disable communication systems, and compromise defense capabilities. Military decisions would no longer be in the hands of governments or armies, but anonymous, non-state actors capable of triggering global conflict without anyone knowing who is behind it. The reliance on AI for decision-making also raises a fundamental ethical dilemma. Who has the final say in technologically advanced warfare? When military power lies in the hands of machines, governments must decide how much control they are willing to relinquish and to what extent they will allow machines to dictate humanity's future. So how can we prevent the impending chaos? Solutions exist, but they are complex and require a paradigm shift. As autonomous weapons, drones, and AI advance rapidly, the international community must adopt a more rigorous approach to the regulation and accountability of AI and military technology. Initiatives like the Treaty on Lethal Autonomous Weapon Systems, laws, have been proposed to establish limits on using machines to make lethal decisions without human intervention. However, many governments are still reluctant to sign agreements that could restrict their military capabilities. The key is finding a balance between technological advancement and global security. Proponents of AI argue that autonomous systems are more precise and less prone to errors than humans. But even here, the scientific community remains divided. Science fiction feels less fictional as we look to the future and the infinite risks associated with machines making life and death decisions. Global regulation must be clear and effective. A strictly national approach could lead to an even more dangerous arms race, with countries developing autonomous weapons without accountability to the international community. Regulation must be rooted in solid ethical principles. AI should act only under human supervision, never replacing critical human decisions. An international cooperation model similar to the Geneva Protocol for Biological Weapons could be a solution. It is imperative that major powers agree on clear rules for using AI in warfare and prevent non-state actors from accessing technologies that could disrupt global balance. At the same time, tech companies, non-governmental organizations, and scientists play a crucial role. They must come together to create ethical standards for developing autonomous weapons and ensure that principles of transparency, accountability, and human oversight are followed at every stage of their development and use. Technological innovation should not serve unrestrained destruction, but the protection of humanity. As the world prepares for an era of increasingly automated warfare, we must act now. The key lies in anticipation. If we do not take measures to control the digital arms race, we could soon face a global catastrophe from which there will be no turning back. As the technological horizon ushers in a new era, our ability to control autonomous weapons and artificial intelligence is being tested. The crucial question is whether we can truly maintain our humanity when machines begin to hold power over our most vital decisions. What's at stake is more than just a matter of technology. It's about the future of our security, ethical norms, and the very nature of armed conflict. While AI and autonomous weapons offer impressive advancements, history has shown that arms races have never led to lasting peace. Humanity must adapt, and with it, create an unstoppable system of control. Only through international cooperation and a robust ethical framework can we ensure that the weapons of the future are not used as instruments of endless destruction. Meanwhile, we must consider the repercussions of a scenario where drones and autonomous weapons can decide who lives and who dies. We must ask ourselves, if a global conflict erupts, who will control these systems? How can we ensure they do not fall into the wrong hands? It is time to confront this new reality. The future of warfare will undoubtedly be more technological, but it must remain fundamentally human. Because in the end, the real challenge is not whether we can create the perfect machine for war, but whether we are prepared to face the consequences of its use. In the coming years, we will make crucial decisions that will define our security, morality, and global stability. But there is still time. We still have the chance to change course, to choose peace over escalation, and to ensure a future where technology is a force for good, not destruction. Today, the news doesn't only come through traditional media. The flow of information has been decentralized, multiplying its power and impact. Every day, millions of pieces of data flow through social media networks, digital platforms, and apps. But how real is that data? How reliable are the algorithms feeding us information? In a world where truth is diluted in noise, the boundaries between reality and manipulation grow increasingly blurred. Disinformation has taken on new forms: fake news, conspiracy theories, and deepfakes. And they are far from harmless. In some cases, they destroy reputations, divide societies, and even alter elections throughout history. The manipulation of information has long been a strategy for power, but now, with the advent of technology, it has reached unprecedented levels. How did we get to this point? What happens when media is no longer just a source of information, but becomes a tool that can be shaped, directed, and even controlled? Who benefits from the collective confusion we are experiencing? The history of humanity has always been marked by how information circulates. However, never before in history has access to information been so immediate and global. The internet and social media have democratized communication, but have also unleashed an information chaos in mere seconds. A false news story can spread across the world, affecting millions of people. Today, misinformation is not just an accident, it is a well-thought-out strategy. Imagine sitting with your phone, scrolling through social media. You see an alarming article, the government is hiding a new pandemic, or perhaps a video showing evidence of a well-known politician embroiled in scandal. The click is almost instinctive, but have you ever stopped to question whether what you're seeing is real? Digital manipulation has reached a point where we now have deep fakes, manipulated videos that appear real, but are fabricated using artificial intelligence. These videos can show public figures saying things they never said or doing things they never did. And the most terrifying part? Most people cannot easily detect these frauds. Social media platforms, originally designed to connect the world, have evolved into centers of polarization driven by algorithms. Users are only exposed to content that reinforces their beliefs. Bots and trolls infiltrate discussions, spreading misinformation and manipulating opinions using the data these platforms collect from every click, comment, and search. Private interests can shape reality in ways we could never have imagined. This is not an isolated phenomenon. Over the past few decades, we've witnessed how misinformation has influenced critical political events, from presidential elections to referendums. The manipulation of public opinion is no longer something only governments can do. Now, any group with sufficient resources can launch a massive digital campaign that changes the course of history. The question we all must ask ourselves is, how can we trust what we see today? We are facing a crisis of credibility. The lines between truth and lies are increasingly blurred, and both official and alternative media are constantly being questioned. Misinformation does not only impact individuals, it destabilizes entire societies. But what happens when the tools that should help us uncover the truth actually hide it from us? The question is not just whether we can trust the information we receive, but also who controls that information. At its core, digital manipulation is being used to create a new kind of power over the minds of the masses. Large tech corporations, with their complex algorithms, can shape our perceptions of the world, deciding what we see, think, and even more worryingly, believe. Consider the Cambridge Analytica scandal and Facebook's data breaches. These events showed us that not only is our personal data being collected, but it is also being used to design strategies that influence our most private decisions, from the elections we vote in to the products we buy. Yet, there's an even greater danger in this machinery: the control of the narrative. With access to our personal information, these corporations don't just influence our purchasing habits. They shape our deepest beliefs, opinions, and ultimately, our worldview. This dilemma is not just technological, it is profoundly human. In a world where truths can be manipulated at will, who holds the control? Democracies, elections, and individual autonomy are at stake. Algorithms, far from being impartial, are designed to maximize economic and political benefits for a select few, while fostering a fragmented and polarized society. The power of data has given rise to a new digital dictatorship. Today, the battle for truth is at its peak, and the question persists: who controls the information? Who controls the power? But this is not just a political issue. It's a battle for the perception of reality itself. Can we survive in a world where reality can be constructed, destroyed, and altered with just a click? Fortunately, there are ways to counter digital manipulation, though the solutions are neither simple nor immediate. First, it is crucial to develop greater digital literacy across the population. If people understand how algorithms and manipulation techniques work, they will be better equipped to detect misinformation and attempts at influence. Digital education is a powerful weapon. By teaching users to be skeptical of the sources they consume, we can begin to reduce the power of fake news. Fact-checkers like PolitiFact and Snopes play a vital role in debunking rumors and confirming facts. However, the problem persists, as the misinformation ecosystem is constantly evolving. What worked a year ago to detect lies may no longer be effective today. Additionally, governments and international organizations are beginning to take steps to regulate online information. For instance, the European Union implemented the Digital Services Act, requiring platforms to be more transparent about how they manage information. Despite these advances, many question whether such laws are enough to counteract tech giants that often operate beyond national borders. Although technology continues to advance and digital media companies control the flow of information, the answer lies in our hands. The power of civil society should never be underestimated. Movements demanding greater transparency and accountability from tech platforms are already underway. Initiatives like Reclaim Your Data and campaigns to regulate algorithms are opening the door to fundamental change. What's at stake isn't just the truth. The manipulation of information directly impacts our ability to make informed decisions, something essential to the functioning of a healthy democracy. Only through a collective effort involving governments, businesses, organizations, and citizens can we regain control over the narratives that define us as a society. Disinformation is not a new phenomenon. From the early days of mass media to the era of the internet and social networks, fake news has always existed. However, what we are witnessing today is unprecedented. A constant battle between those who seek the truth and those who manipulate information to control the global narrative. In a digitally interconnected world, information can be more dangerous than ever. The question we must ask is, how can we protect ourselves from this constant bombardment of information? The answer lies in knowledge and action. Digital literacy is the first step, and solutions must come not only from governments and large corporations, but also from each of us. If every individual becomes a more critical consumer of the content they encounter, if we demand transparency, and if we start questioning the validity of what is presented to us, we can break this cycle. Technology has the power to unite us, but it also has the power to divide us. The question is how we choose to use it. As we move toward the future, the tools at our disposal provide both a challenge and an opportunity. If we learn to navigate this ocean of information and discern truth from falsehood, we will be able to make better informed decisions and ultimately protect our democracy and freedom. Disinformation and digital manipulation represent one of the greatest threats of our time, but they are also battles we can win in a world full of uncertainty. The ability to question, investigate, and reflect on what we see, read, and hear becomes our greatest resource. We must not underestimate the power information has over us, but we should not fear it either. Knowledge, skepticism, and collective action are our best weapons against digital chaos. The next time you encounter a sensational headline, remember, the truth is within your reach. We just need to be willing to seek it. The journey we've undertaken has shown us both the risks and the opportunities technology brings, from the threat of mass automation to the possibility of building a more inclusive future. We've discovered that the impact of these advancements is not set in stone. It is a reflection of the choices we make today. To prevent a fragmented world where wealth, knowledge, and power are concentrated in a few hands, we must rethink the purpose of our creations. Fairer regulations, education systems adapted to the future, and a shared ethical commitment are not luxuries. They are our most important tools. History teaches us that no technology, no matter how disruptive, has ever dictated human destiny. From the printing press to electricity, our tools have reflected our ambitions, fears, and, above all, our capacity to adapt. The future is not a predetermined path. It is a blank canvas. Artificial intelligence, robotics, and quantum computing do not have to mark the end of our humanity. They can be the beginning of an era where we redefine what it means to be human. Together, we can transform these tools into a legacy of balance, innovation, and justice for future generations. The challenge is immense, but as at all crossroads in our history, the question is not what technology can do for us, it is what we will do with it. As we gaze at the cosmos and see the vastness that surrounds us, it's impossible not to feel both awe and humility. We are a young, imperfect species, but also an extraordinary one. We have reached a turning point in our history, a time where every decision matters more than ever. Technology has granted us a power that centuries ago we couldn't even imagine. Yet with that power comes an immense responsibility, deciding what kind of world we want to build. Will we choose isolation or connection, greed or collaboration, absolute control or conscious freedom? Beyond our differences, there is something that always unites us, the desire for a better future. No matter how advanced our machines become or how vast the horizons we conquer, true progress will be measured by our ability to be more human. Perhaps not all the answers are clear today, but in every corner of the world, there are people dreaming, working, and building. And in those dreams, in those hands, lies the promise of a tomorrow that we can share and shape together. Because the future is not out there waiting for us, it is here with us right now.